I am recording.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good day. Yeah, I avoid saying good morning, good afternoon, or good evening because we have a global audience here. I am Priya Patra, the lead of Women PowerUp Network, and we have Cecilia, our Latin America lead. Cecilia, would you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi, hello everyone. Greetings from Argentina. It's cold and raining Buenos Aires, and I'm very excited to be here. So this will be a very good session. Thank you, Spencer, for being with us. Thank you, Pia.
Thank you. Thank you, Cecilia. And we have Priscilla, who is our social media champion. And all those posts that you see on social media is all driven by her. So, Cecilia, over to you to say hi to everyone.
Hello, I'm Priscilla from Brazil. Good morning, it's cold here too. I'm super excited and super impressed. Spencer has a magic touch. Thank you for being with
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank you, Priscilla. Yeah, Spencer do have a magic wand, I would say, because he impresses us all the time whenever he speaks. And this is not the first time that we would be listening to him. I have had the pleasure of listening to him a couple of times before, and I can without doubt say this session is going to be amazing. Some housekeeping rules before we get started. We are all here to celebrate women leadership. We are all speaking on our individual capacity. Our views do not represent in any way for the organization that we work for. This meeting has been recorded. If you are uncomfortable in any way, please feel free to hop out of the event. If not, you are welcome to join our celebration. And don't forget to take the poll and let us know from which part of the world you have joined us. And the code is there on the screen. It is there on the chat window, menti.com. Use the code 79346914. Before we get started, we just remind ourselves who we are and what we are for. Us is a community. We are not a business, but we are a community with a purpose. I would say a large community. We have like around 959 women in our LinkedIn as well as Facebook groups. Our vision is to empower everyone with the right support, the skill to transform the future, we hope someday. And right now, we are providing this platform to enhance our leadership qualities. We truly believe being good enough is amazing, and you really do not need to be an expert to power each other up. And when such good enough people come together, we say we power up, and together we rise. And with this, we move on to thank our partners. It wouldn't have been possible without these communities who has been supporting us for 3 years now. PMI Slovenia, PMI Buenos Aires, Argentina, PMO officers, IAPM, Agnostic Agile Community, please do join their community, Scrum Day London, and the latest ones are Agile Spin and Peers Insight. Our technology partner is Smart Work AR, and Cecilia will put the link on the chat window, and I see it already there. Please do visit their website. They are doing pretty cool stuff with AR and VR. With this, Priscilla, I hand over the stage to you to remind us about the theme of the year.
Thank you, Priya. Welcome. So before we start, I would like to recap our theme for this year, which is Remarkable and Rising. Leadership is not a title, it is a journey, one of self-discovery, resilience, and transformation. Remarkable and Rising is more than just a theme, it's a movement. It's about recognizing our unique strengths, transcending limitations, and systematically evolving into the most powerful version of ourselves. This year, let us embrace bold aspirations, continuous learning, and unwavering self belief. Let us support one another in breaking barriers, amplifying our voices, and stepping into the spaces where we truly belong. Together, as a community of women who uplift and inspire each other, we will not just rise, we will redefine what it means to be remarkable. Every month, we will share our remarkable and rising stories and how we have evolved to be the leaders that we are today. This will be published in our monthly newsletter. You can subscribe by scanning the QR code or the link that I will share in the chat window in a few minutes. If you are an author, you can also submit your book using the Google link form. Okay, next one. And now we also have a special invitation for you to collaborate with us on the Women Power Up Network. We are inviting purpose-driven individuals like you, of all genders, not only women, to join our global community and help us power up through connection, creativity, and leadership. Currently, we have two positions available: social media champion and web design and development for our new website. Both roles are 100% remote. Please apply using the link shared in the chat. I will share all the links in a minute. So thank you. Over to you, Cecilia.
Thank you, Priscilla. And now I have the pleasure to introduce the facilitator of the day, Spencer Horn. Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts, your personal brand and career trajectory don't quite align with your aspirations? Would you like to learn how to pivot your confidence and create new opportunities by owning your brand? Spencer Horn has spent 33 years leading teams and execute organizations, including as a CEO and vice president of a NASDAQ company. He worked with global brands like IMAX, National Geographic, and Disney. And today he coaches leaders worldwide on how to ignite high-performance teams and achieve sustainable success under pressure. Spencer is passionate about helping professionals like you define and amplify your personal brand to unlock your full potential. Whether you are navigating a career transition, returning after a break, or ready for a new challenge. Outside of leadership, Spencer is a proud husband, father of 5, and grandfather of 9. Wow. He's a mountain biker and hiker from Salt Lake City who loves cars almost as much as he loves the outdoors. Helping us today to strengthen your brand and master the pivot, please welcome Spencer Horn.
Thank you, Cecilia. So glad to be with you. Glad to be with so many of my friends here today and with Lee Lambert. You make me feel comfortable, Lee, because I'm not the only one follically challenged in the group today. So I am so glad that you're here for that mutual support. Well, I have a request because I do things a little differently. If you don't mind pinning my square in Zoom so that when I share my screen, it will show up big on your monitor. So you have to do that. I want you to be able to see my slides because I want to be able to switch back and forth to have a conversation with you. We are going to get very personal today. We are going to work on some skills. I actually put, if you didn't get the participant guide, I put a workbook in the chat. And I want to make one apology. I've had a terrible chest cold. The cold is gone, but the cough is lingering. So if I cough, please forgive me for that. That is something I hate to do. But let's get going. What happens when your career trajectory, what happens to that trajectory when you take a break to care for your family? Perhaps you're looking for a career change or new opportunities, like starting a business or becoming a consultant, a coach, or an influencer. How do you reinvent yourself and power the next chapter of your life? Well, it starts with mastering the pivot and strengthening your brand, of course. So I want you to just imagine, if you will, that you got hired for a job that you were so excited for, and suddenly the economy crashed. And the company began losing sales almost overnight. And soon, half of the revenues for that company was gone. How would you feel? Would you be worried for your job? Well, this happened to me in 2008 during the last great recession. My company asked me to switch from being an organizational development trainer, which is what they hired me for, to selling to sales on 100% commission. How would you feel that you had to pay your bills based on whether you succeed in selling and selling a product that was usually one of the very first services that companies cut spending on during a recession? Well, I quickly learned the importance of a strong personal brand. You know, since most companies were not hiring during that recession, I didn't have a lot of options. And so the traditional way of making sales at that company was to get referrals from a book of business. I didn't have a book of business. Mine consisted of all the accounts that were inactive or no one else wanted. So I had to think of ways that I could grow my client base quickly. In addition to my personal contacts, I decided to become an expert speaker. And I thought this was one of the ways that I could expand my client base. What was the risk? Well, what if I sucked at speaking? But within a few months, I decided to start speaking, and I started working with a coach. I published an article in a book. I booked my very first keynote with the California Army National Guard. It was a formal uniform attire awards dinner for 400 men and women. This was my very first paid keynote speaking. They paid me 2,000 US dollars to speak for 20 minutes. No PowerPoint, no notes. How would you feel? This began my career of getting paid to speak and eventually led me to become the CEO of that company. Now, speaking effectively is more than being a keynote speaker. Would you like to be more effective in challenging situations, job interviews, difficult conversations, negotiating a raise, getting buy-in or support for your next project, pitching a business idea to potential investors or closing a deal, coaching and training your team, asking for help, asking for referrals, networking? This is the PowerUP, Women's PowerUp network, right? We've got a network. Speaking up for yourself or for someone else in front of two people or in front of 2,000. So have you been in a situation that you needed to get creative to survive? I'm sure you have. What obstacles did you face? Well, I needed to get started with little money, no book, no track record of speaking for money. What will be the impact if you learn how to strengthen your brand and communicate with power and influence? What will happen if you don't? I would like for you to please make sure that you can see these slides. I have two survey questions that I'm going to need you to scan that QR code for. And this is I really want your input. So if you can scan that QR code in just a moment, I will bring up the survey. We'll just have two questions. That's all I have for this interactive part. And excuse me. And here is the agenda for today. I'm going to be talking about initially, briefly, what is a brand, why it matters, and then most of the time, I'm going to share some strategies for strengthening that brand. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do, but we only have 5 hours, right, Priya? 5 hours is what you told me we had, right? we literally have minutes, and so I am going to be limited into some of the things that I can share with you, and we're going to do some live coaching. Okay, I want to do some hot seat coaching. I want this to be very interactive. If you can come away with one thing to strengthen your brand and help you master that pivot for your next opportunity or whatever it is you're looking for, I will feel very happy. And all of you are at different places in your career, you have different needs, so everything that I talk about may not apply to all of you, but a few of those things that I talk about should apply to you individually, and that is my hope. So let's talk about what is a brand. And so that's the first question. What is a brand? This is where you guys have to type in just an answer. So all of your answers will come up as you start typing that. Are you able to access the survey? Can I get some head nods or some thumbs up? I see Elena. I see you, Carla. Welcome from Spain. And we've got, oh my gosh, somebody from Mongolia. I am so excited. Okay, waiting for some answers. If Laura, good, I'm glad. Okay. Somebody says presence. Come on, let's see a few answers come up here. Cecilia, are you typing? There we go. You, me or you? Here they come. It's the way people see you as your brand. Yeah, absolutely. A distinctive identity. Yes. Here they come. Me. Yes, it is you. Your reputation. Yes, I like that answer. Absolutely. It's what people think about you right when you're not around. Your identity. Nice. Good. Couple more. How people identify you. Yes. You guys, I am so impressed. I know we have people from all over the world and we're speaking English. I am so impressed. Thank you. And if I say something you don't understand, would you please interrupt me? Would you write a question in the chat? Would you tell me to slow down? Whatever it is that you need from me, please ask. A name, a logo, your reputation, it's your personal asset. This is wonderful. It's your representation of you, your values, and your beliefs, your presence. Well done. These are some fabulous answers. Let's see. Let's have one more, I think, maybe coming through. All right. So love those answers. Now, I want you to think about some top brands. I want you to list some top brands. This is the next question. What are some brands that you think of when you think of a top brand? So I'm going to put this back up on the screen so you can see some of the answers that come through. Coca-Cola, Amazon, Disney, Apple. There, we got a bunch of apples. We've got Google, Nike, Samsung. We have some competition. Adidas, nice. There's that cough. Um, yeah, Microsoft, Meta. So we instantly can recognize some brands, right? And so here's some brands that I want to share with you that went too far. Think of what is that on the top left? Does anybody tell me what that brand is on the top left?
Starbucks.
Starbucks. You don't even see, it doesn't even say Starbucks, right, Priscilla? But you
Yeah.
know that is. And then you've got a fruit, one of the most recognizable brands in the world. It's a fruit. That's Apple. And then we've got just a swoosh. It doesn't even say Nike, but we all know what that means. And of course, Mercedes. All of these things are very iconic brands that we know immediately what they stand for. You know what you're going to get when you go to McDonald's, right? Listen, Elena, I've been to McDonald's in Poland. It's a little different because, you know, they have to source food a little different, but there's a lot of similarities. You go to Asia and it's different. Instead of you know, they have like rice cakes and stuff instead of the fries as much. But a lot of times it's, you know, you know what you're going to get when you go to some of these brands. Toyota, internationally known. Well, you know, this is the power of a brand. A brand is similar to a word like trademark, right? It's your brand is what anyone thinks of when he or she hears your brand name. And so we just put that to the test and you name some of your favorite brands. What about things like Kleenex? Kleenex we think of, right, is this a Kleenex? No, that's a tissue. But Kleenex is a brand, right? And so we call that a Kleenex. Then there's this, what do you do sometimes when you have to send something overnight? You visited Poland and the McDonald's is different, right, Jackie? Yes. What do you have to do when you send something overnight? You FedEx it, right? I don't know if you do that internationally, but the United States we say FedEx it, and that means you're going to send it, you know, overnight. So the benefits of a strong brand is, you know, people think of something right away when you see those things, right? So I want you to look at this picture. What is this picture of right here? It's an Apple store. How many of you have ever been to an Apple store? So if wherever there's an Apple store, it increases traffic to that retail area by 20%. And you know, why do some people like their Apple products, you know, so much? It's the experience. And so, you know, do you have a brand? Because of technology, there's greater transparency than ever before. Customers demand to interact with their favorite brands. They comment, they praise, they critique on products and experiences. Companies who do not have a brand often fail. Let's see that. Takia, did I say your name right? Takia Ellis? Is it Takia?
Yes. Yes.
And you've never been to an Apple store. That's totally fine.
No,
But
no, no. I said I've been to an Apple
oh,
store.
you have been. See, I'm like,
Yes.
I'm blind. Can you believe that? This is crazy. I've been to an Apple store too, and what's happening is now the competitors, like Microsoft, they're copying the way that they do their customer service and how they're delivering their services because it had such a profound impact on the experience, which is what a lot of Apple users really like about Apple. So these same principles apply to individuals. Each of you and me have a brand, even if you're not aware of it. And so I help a lot of my clients hire talent for their firms. And we have a process of identifying the best candidates, which includes behavior-based interviewing. And, you know, of course, we go online to see if their brand is congruent with how they represent themselves. So if you think your social media is personal, it's not. Everything that you post is public domain and becomes part of your brand. How many of you recognize that? What you stand for, thank you, Priscilla, what you stand for is represented in your posts. And it may hurt or help your brand strength. You know, this was years ago. I went to a recruiting conference and I was blown away at some of the sophistication. And back in 2018, there was a CNBC article talking about how many jobs would be people would be interviewing with robots. And AI right now it's amazing what's going on today. 37% of companies are using AI for initial interviews. Did you know that? 23 to 24% use AI for the entire interview process. 70% of employers use AI somewhere in their hiring pipeline. And globally, this is likely to translate to tens of millions of AI run interviews per year. We don't have exact figures, and it depends on the region and the industry. But what does that mean for you? Has anybody here had an interview with an AI bot for a job? Elena, have you?
Yeah,
You
I
have.
have one. I had one. It was first step. It was AI. I received questions on my screen. I have time to answer. And then only after this, I had interview with real human.
So you must have done a good job. Well done. But that's interesting. And how did you feel when, if I can put you on the spot, how did it feel with that interview? Did it feel awkward or natural?
No, for me it was awkward definitely, because it was first time I even didn't know that something like this exists in this world.
So I know your personality, Elena, right? And I know that that's awkward for you. It's awkward for most people, but there's a company here in Utah called HireVue. Major brands have been using them for years to do video interviews with people. And the AI is looking for your confidence. It's looking for if you're telling the truth, if you believe in what you're saying. You can't lie to it. It's kind of scary. And so when I'm talking about your brand, how you even sentiment analysis, Priscilla, right? Um, and so you're familiar with HireVue, right? Yeah. So here's what happens is that you have to be able to speak just like you would to a real person, but you've got to be able to do it in a way that actually promotes your competence, your confidence, and that can be really, really hard. So this is happening. I mean, this was already 7 years ago. They were thinking it was starting to happen. It is a huge part of hiring today. So part of your brand is how you show up in these interviews. Let's talk about personal branding for a little bit. Excuse me. Um, okay, so with personal brand, I want to give you a definition of what personal branding is. Could somebody read that? Let's see. Anybody willing to read what a personal brand is? Who's got a good voice? Come on. This is where you volunteer, Lee.
Okay, let's go. I'll try to with
Okay.
my Brazilian accent, okay?
I love it. Don't you love that accent, Lee?
Oh, let's go. Personal branding is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of an individual by positioning them as an authority in their industry, elevating their credibility,
Perfect.
yeah, and differentiating themselves from the competition to ultimately advance their career, increase their circle of influence, and have a larger impact.
I want you to know, Priscilla, that I'm coming to Brazil this year to speak, and I've been practicing Portuguese, and I suck at Portuguese. It's so hard.
Oh,
I speak
count on me.
Italian, I speak
Yeah.
German, and I've been practicing Greek, but Portuguese has been hard for me. So I feel your pain. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for doing that. Um, so yeah, so you can see the value of having a personal brand, right? Because you several of you noted this in your comments. You are your own brand, right? And I want you to be able to stand out. Lee, look at this. I know Lee wears socks like this, even though he wears that's his brand, right? He's got that great brand, that sweatshirt, but underneath you got a party down low with those bright socks that he wears. And I want you all to stand out so that you just look a little bit different and people can recognize who you are. So, but some of us resist creating a personal brand. How many of you feel like sometimes a personal brand it feels like you're being salesy or pushy? It feels maybe inauthentic, right? And we'll talk about why that might be, but so some people resist personal branding, and I'm going to share a few reasons why we resist. Um, we're concerned about our image. We don't want to be coming across as, I feel I am shamelessly promoting myself. You know what? Good for you, Priya. But I know sometimes it feels like I don't want to be a brand product. I want to be a human. And Jackie, I I know what you're talking about. Sometimes we can feel that way. And yes, but we're concerned about that image coming across as being, too salesy. We're not clear about why we have to have a brand, what we want from it, what we want to accomplish. That can be a reason why we resist it. We're not sure where to start in creating that brand. We're not sure who we want to work with. So I don't know if you've ever, if you ever been to a networking event where it was just obnoxious, people were being really pushy and salesy. I I hate networking events, and I remember the interesting thing about selling is that if we push too hard, we actually push our prospects away. And sometimes people may have taken personal branding too far and it becomes kitschy or gimmicky, and we lose our humanity. And sometimes we only tell a small part of who we are, and it can become obnoxious. How many of you can relate to that? Yeah. And so it can actually backfire. Sometimes our LinkedIn profiles scream, I'm going to sell you something. Have you ever looked at a profile that says, oh, I don't know, if I connect with this person, they're going to try to sell me something? I have. And so if, we're concerned with being too salesy and turning off others, um, networking people who push their cards on you. I went to this networking event with my friend. She's a powerful woman in Las Vegas who does a lot of networking events, and she invited me to this great event at the Mandalay Bay. If you've ever been there, it's a beautiful hotel. And this was at this room at the very top of the hotel, looking out over the strip. And I remember she was making announcements as one of the sponsors. And we listen to the sponsors when they make their announcement because they're the ones who, make the event happen. And everyone was asked to listen. One of the guys, he was wearing this fancy long jacket. He stood in front of me so I couldn't even see my friend while I was sitting and listening to her. And he started to tell me what he did as an attorney. And he put his business card in my face. Say, if you ever need an accident attorney, I want you to call me. I took the card to remember never to do business with that person. Who do we do business with, friends? People that we like and trust. Do you agree? It's so much better to just be real, to connect and learn, right? People who are reliable, Priscilla, right? So it's so much better to just be real, to connect and learn about the other person, to ask questions, to be genuinely interested and willing to help. So when we're clear what we want, our brains engage to find solutions for others, and that becomes part of our brand. But we have to have a vision that is clear and focused. And then when we harness that, the brain's creative power starts to help us achieve that brand that will help us to succeed. There's so much information about where to start. It can seem overwhelming and confusing. So if you know who you want to work with, you can focus your message to attract the best clients for you. If you work with everyone, you're not going to have time and energy to work where you will have the greatest impact and enjoy the most. I just had a conversation with a CEO yesterday that I've been coaching for a couple of years, and they focused their product, they narrowed their focus, and it's been so helpful for him. The business is starting to boom. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you ready? I need you to make sure you can see my screen. We're going to measure your reputation here. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions to help you measure your reputation, and then we're gonna do some hot seat questions here. So the first question I have is: do people listen to you when you speak? Do when you have something to say, do they stop and say, okay, this is important. I need to stop and listen. Number two. Do people take you seriously? When you say that you're going to do something, do they, I love that I've got yes, Carla's and Cecilia, yes, wonderful. Um, do they take you seriously when you say you're going to do something that they know you're going to follow through? Yes, Laura, I know that about you. Okay. Are your services in demand? Let me tell you what I mean by this. Um, well, how to check it? How to check if they take you seriously? Is that what you're asking, Alana? Um, Well, first of all, do people stop and say, okay, I'm focused on what you have to say? Are your services in demand? Do people ask you for things, even if it's not what your job is, right? In other words, you have a relationship with somebody. Are there people that you go to for things that you have questions for, no matter what they do? You just know that they're going to be willing to help you, right? So when people at your company come to you, it says that you are in demand. What's one way that you can tell. People want your help and your perspective in solving problems. That's just one self-check that you can say, yes, that's happening. Um, Number four, do people invest with you? I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Not that like you're selling stocks or anything, but do they invest with you? Meaning, if you have an idea, do they say, yes, let's do that? And that means they're going to commit company revenues to pursuing your idea. Do they buy your ideas? Do you get a promotion? Do you get a raise? That's investing in you. Do they send you for training? Do they give you opportunities to expand your capabilities because they see you as an asset worth investing in? I've had conversations with a couple of you here, and you actually have companies that are investing in your coaching, which is an example of them investing in you. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Do they want to work with you? Do you have low or high turnover in your project teams? Or some, if you are a manager of teams, do you have stability on your team? Do people want to come be part of your team, or is there turnover? And that's not valid for everybody because not everybody has teams here. If you were a stock, would your value be rising? And again, I want you to look at your career trajectory. Is it going up? Is your value, your income, is that increasing over time? How many of you found that that mostly was true? I hope I see, yes, I see some sometimes, but this is a way to kind of self-evaluate your brand, and it sounds like most of you are doing really good. But I'm going to do something right now that I think is going to help you um, with that. But I have another question. What happens when you make a mistake? When you make a mistake, are you given grace? In other words, are they're like, you know what, that's we understand. I mean, you rarely make mistakes. Think about that's part of your brand. What happens when you make mistakes? Some people are punished, right? And some are given leniency because that's very rare for them. Again, part of your brand. I love this saying by Alvin Toffler. The illiterate of the future are not those who can't read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we're going to do a little exercise right now. I'm going to ask you about some things about your brand that you would like to improve. And I'm going to give you some examples, and I want you to write it down. I want you to share it with us. Here's some examples of things that you might want to improve about your brand. You want to become known as an expert in whatever field, right? Um, you want to become more real and authentic. You want to have greater confidence. You want to develop a success story with references and testimonials. You want to be willing to tell your story and promote yourself more. You want to create a better experience as a project manager or as a team leader, whatever it is that you do by X. I want to improve my reputation by why, whatever that is. Okay, take a minute and then write down what are two things that you would like to improve about your brand. Is anybody willing to share, and I'll give you a little bit of time, but as you think of those things, would you put them in the chat for me so I can see them? If you're willing, you don't have to if you don't want to share those. It's part of feeling comfortable. Okay, so Michelle, is that I own it and admit it? Is that what you're talking about? And Alana, I get help, asking for help. Is that what you're saying?
It was about previous question.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so I'm behind on the comments. Better at selling myself. Yeah, Michelle, right? Um, get additional board seats. Okay, so that means maybe recruiting. Better at selling yourself, Priscilla, right? Improve my storytelling skills, Carla. That is such a powerful skill to learn. And as you know, when we tell stories, we create neural coupling, right? That's what influences people. Data is important, but that's not what actually does the influencing. It's taking that data and putting it in a story that is so powerful. To be listened to more. Yes. Interesting. And we'll talk about some ways to do that that I think will be very, very helpful today. That's part of what we'll get today. Become known as an expert in project management and team leadership. Love that. Yeah, greater confidence, Priscilla. Um, it starts with I know it's hard when you're actually speaking in a foreign language. But again, look at it as an asset. Because when you're speaking with other English speakers, you're more memorable than everybody else because of that accent. And it's the effort that you're putting in that's actually admired. Lee, wouldn't you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah, and so if you just get that out of your mind, yes, it's not perfect, but most people, there are some cultures, like I apologize if anybody here is from France, but when you go to France and try to speak French, which I have done before, they're like, don't even try, right? But if you go to places like Italy, Laura, right? If you say a few Italian words, they're like, abbracciami, you're my best friend. It's a different culture. But with English, that it's just in the world today, I think it's wonderful when you put yourself out there, and most people are going to give you grace. So give yourself some of that grace. Let's see. I would like for others to identify who I am at present. I don't have a brand per se because I have not narrowed down my services, although I am working on it. That's very specific, awesome, and Jackie, hopefully you'll have some things that will help with that as a starting point. As I said, we're going to be pretty narrow today because we've only got about 40 more minutes. Create a better experience by becoming a better speaker. Yes. And I'm going to give you some techniques, Alana, that will help you to become a better speaker. Improve my public speaking skills and my confidence in front of a big audience. Kiki, that's a powerful skill that is monetizable. Promote my expertise in project management, GovCon. Yeah, business readiness on social media to land clients. And so this is interesting. Some of you want to become consultants and speakers. It's like, think about somebody who wants to become a dentist, right? It's great to be a dentist, but if you don't have any patients, then you don't get to practice. So as a professional speaker, if I can't go out and develop relationships to create speaking opportunities for myself, I have no right to be a speaker. I haven't earned that right because I've got to go out and get them. I can't expect anybody else to do that for me. So part of the business is being able to get the gig. And sometimes those personalities that are at odds, right? The selling side and then the performing side are very different in skill set. Let's see what we've got. More confidence in your abilities. Oh, we're going to talk about something, Grace, that I think will help with that in just a moment here. You struggle with social media. I'm come back to that. If I don't answer social media, make sure that I answer that. Thank you so much for being willing to share what it is that you want to work on. That means a lot to me. I know that those are very personal things. Um, I want to practice doing what's called an elevator speech. We're going to break into small groups. I don't know if you have the ability, Priya, to put people into small groups of like
Yes.
4. Can we do that? I didn't tell you
Yes.
this. This is me doing this on the fly, and if we can't do that, it's fine. But I want to do. Let me give you the criteria for the elevator speech. Okay. Um, I want you to do this is just practice selling yourself, and before we go into the groups, here's what I want you to do. Uh, I want you to share 3 strengths that you bring. So, for example, I'm really good at understanding people's needs really quickly. I can identify those. I'm continuously improving all the time. I'm continually learning, and I help people get comfortable getting uncomfortable so that they can learn and grow. So those are example of my 3 strengths. Um, so what I want you to do is I want you to say your name. My name is Spencer Horn. I'm the president of Altium Leadership, and here are the 3 strengths that I bring. One of the most effective elevator speeches is you not just going on and selling everything you do, but saying, do you know how when people are wanting to grow and develop as a leader, but they don't always know the best way to do that? I help them do that. That's a way that you can very quickly create some interest, and that's an example of like a 15-second elevator speech, right? Do you know how when people have big projects and they end up going millions of dollars over budget and over time? Well, I help companies make sure that doesn't happen. Does that make sense? Something like that would be an example of what it is that you do that creates interest. You know how when um, people want to whatever, just create a question like that and say, here's what I do. Maybe a couple of strengths, but I want you to be really, really brief. Okay. So take a minute, write down your 3 strengths, and just introduce yourself. We'll put you into groups of 4 and you can practice introducing each other. And so if you're not going to take yourself off camera, hopefully you're in a place where you can do that. I'd really like for you to help each other, give each other an opportunity. Okay, 30 more seconds, and then we're going to put you into groups.
And how many people in each group?
Let's do 4. So that's just going to be what, like 3 or 4 groups? Let's do 4 people. No, what do you think? 3? Well, 4, just because some people may not be on the. I just want to make sure there's enough people in each group.
4 groups then?
Yeah, I think. How many people do we have? Yes, 4 groups. 4 groups would be great.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 groups.
Okay. Fine, automatically. Okay, I will create the breakout rooms.
Fantastica.
Created. We have.
Okay, so I'm going to try to join different breakout groups as you guys go into those.
I don't know. Okay, this breakout room are to have 30 minutes, so we will need to
Yeah,
close
I want you to do it for
manually.
like maybe 3 minutes, right?
3 minutes, okay, 3 minutes, because I haven't set up, so 3 minutes.
Kiki, are you here? She's not here. Okay, let me see if I can join a breakout room.
Who loves experimenting and trying new things, which has led me to become a lifelong learner.
Okay. Thank you, Carla. Well, it's my turn. Well, I am Grace Bárcenas from Mexico City. I study information technology, and actually I am a teacher. And I think my strong things are I am patient with the people, and I have an active listening when I stay with other person, and I am very impactful. I think that this is my three strengths.
Nice.
Thank you.
Who is the next?
I could be the next.
Yeah.
My name is Elena. I'm Ukrainian, but now I live in Poland. I am skilled in project management, business processes, and also IT systems. That's why I could help companies with IT systems implementation, business processes automation, and so on.
Thank you. Nice.
And yeah, I'm Preeti. I'm from India. I'm a project management and a business analysis person and the healthcare domain. And
Why did we end so early to sessions?
I need to unmute myself. Okay, so I'd like to hear how did that feel for some of you? What was
We
that
ended
like?
it too early.
You ended it too early?
Yeah, because I thought it was going to be like 20. I don't know. It wasn't too much. It wasn't enough time.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, sorry, because it was setting in 30 minutes, but we only have 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So sorry
we got to
for
go
that.
fast. So for those of you who did it, how did that feel?
A bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was too quick. Priscilla,
You were
anybody
thinking, yeah.
anybody else feel a little uncomfortable?
Exactly. Uncomfortable.
Yeah, I asked Alona if she would share what she said, okay? I want you to hear her elevator speech. Go for it, Alona.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I was really bad on this, so I will try it. Thank you for another try. My name is Alona. I'm working as a technical project manager in the company developing a medical information system. And my main strength when the companies or a team struggle with problems, when nobody knows what to do, and what other people do. So and things going chaotic, I'm I I'm activated, and I can handle this. I can build processes. I can help people understand each other better, and to keep things in order.
How many of you feel like that's a valuable service that Lona brings?
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take for her to tell that story? Like 20 seconds, right? And so it's not too much information, but it's like it should be a tease. You help people communicate better. You help create, streamline things when it's chaotic. How many of you know that would be hugely valuable to a client, to a company? That's the kind of thing that as you get better at telling that story, people are going to be like, tell me more. They're going to lean in. And that's part of your brand. It's like, wow, that's a value. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about next. I know we didn't have a lot of time because we've got to move through this quickly. So the next part of this is, what is your story? What is it that you know that others will pay for? And so I would like to have a volunteer who would be willing to talk to me about this, to have me interview them. Who would be willing to do that? It's okay to move quickly.
Okay, I can go.
Who is that?
Scarla.
Carla. I'm so excited. Okay, Carla.
Okay, let's see.
So
Just to let you know, I put that I'm from Spain, but I am Brazilian also. So I'm
Mm.
living in Spain, but I am Brazilian.
Muito bem. Boa noche.
Muito- Let's see what's gonna
Bom
happen.
dia. Okay. What? Sorry, gotta get a cough out. Carla, what do you know that others will pay for?
Usually the feedback that I receive that I really can create a collaborative environment where people can co-create together good solutions and find solutions for a problem or an opportunity for the company.
Okay. Can you give me an example of how you do this?
Okay, well, I'm an agile coach, so I have my skill facilitation and to promote collaboration between teams. So usually what I do is having a session or something like that. It depends of the context because maybe is related to a group of people, maybe something more specific to 2 or 3 people. But usually what I do is to understand the problem because we should be focused more in the problem than the how or solutions. So a deep diving in what and mainly why we need something to achieve something or to solve something. And then we start creating some scenarios and hypotheses related to that. And together we choose those that we are willing to invest more time to go deeper or to try an MVP or whatever to get a feedback.
Yeah, excellent. So I understand the process. I'd like you to give me an example. So give me an example of a problem that you facilitated a solution on. You don't have to talk about who or what, just
Okay.
a real solution.
Okay, let me think about. Well, I will talk about a more recent one that came to my mind now because I was
Excellent.
not prepared for that.
I know I'm
But
putting you on the
one
spot. You're
of
doing brilliant.
okay, that's nice. So one of our main focus is increase productivity, but not all our work was visible related to that. I'm not talking about performance that is a broader than productivity. I'm talking here our capacity of delivery. And so I put together different skills to think together a better way to make the information that we need more visible to track and monitor and start doing the improvement. So some skills like people that knows better data sets, others related to dashboards, others related to Jira, and we starting co-create together to solve not a problem, but to support the company to achieve one of the goals.
So you helped the company achieve a goal. Can you
Yes.
describe what that goal was?
In this case, it was not a business, but more related to optimize the flow that is productivity.
So optimize
Productivity,
productivity.
yes.
Okay,
And as I
so
mentioned, it was a specific productivity because performance is more about impact and other stuffs. Here is capacity of
so why is that so valuable?
It's so valuable because of the time to market. I'm in a company that our main product is a digital product. So we need to be faster, but not just faster, need to be sustainable. And we need to always looking for rooms for improvement.
Okay, so if you were to put a value
Mm-hmm.
on what you just did for that company to be able to increase that goal in terms of improving productivity, getting to market on time, increasing capacity, what would be the monetary value that you think that that created?
We have two main goals and benefit that we want from that. One is monetary, that's EBITDA. And the second one is to increase the Prime members because we have a membership model, business model in our company. So we can attract more members, putting functionality faster and making available to them.
So you increased EBITDA
Yes.
and increased membership.
Yes, these are the two main things that are main
So if
focus.
you were to just put a value on that increase in EBITDA and the number of members, what would that be? Just estimate.
Uh, Actually, it's a pretty hard. I'm gonna say why. Because we have 7 areas in our company. We have a clear result expected from areas and teams. So I was supporting all of them. So I can't say the number that we have in the company, but I can give you a percentage like
Be modest.
30% of our goal.
23% of the goal. And how much
20
is
to 30% of our goal that it's a sensitive number I can share with you, right?
okay, so is it a lot of euros?
Yes, it's a lot of years.
That's what I want to hear. And so how much is that worth for you to come in and make that impact in that company?
It's amazing. It's amazing
Are you
because
charging enough for that service? Are they paying you enough for that service? So
well, we have
here's
an agreement. No, we have an agreement, right? If we convert in terms of numbers, just numbers, monetary numbers, I would say no. But there are other factors that motivate me to be in a company, right? I'm being totally transparent
yes.
that I would not change to another company that would pay me more, for example, because I value other things.
That's not what I'm
But
asking. What I'm
my ask,
asking is I want you to feel confident that you are bringing value.
okay, see,
Does that
yes,
make
yes,
sense? I want you to have the confidence to say, I bring value to this company because here's what I do. I don't just increase collaboration, I
no.
impact the bottom line. I
Mm-hmm.
increase EBITDA, I increase membership. And you know what? If I just got 5% of that 30% increase, I'd be a wealthy woman.
Yes, yes.
Does that make sense? So it's more about mindset. Part of your brand is the understanding of the impact that you have. So when it comes to talking about maybe renegotiating that contract in the future, when it comes to saying maybe there's another opportunity, you're happy with your opportunity now, and that's totally fine, right? But if there was ever a situation where you had
Mm-hmm.
to perhaps renegotiate that, I want you to think about it from a perspective of strength and value that you have. I want you to connect what you do with the impact that it has that is so valuable that you understand your value.
Great. And thank you so much, because it's what we promote with the teams, that they need to know the value that they promote and the value that they are bringing to the company. But it's interesting, our main mindset, when we are talking about it, it's not usual.
No,
If you
because
don't
so
train,
there's a couple things, Carla. You're an
nice.
agile coach. You're a team player. You are you're a wonderful leader, and so you're more coming from this mindset of giving, and this is just what we do. A lot of listen. I hope I don't offend anybody, but a lot of the people on this call are givers. They care for their families. They do things because this is just what you do in a business and in your family. And sometimes we forget to be a little mercenary and say,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm pretty I'm pretty important here." It doesn't feel it just feels like I'm putting too much emphasis on me and I'm being boastful or I'm being proud. No, I want you to just have the mindset that if it ever comes down to having a negotiation, the people that you're negotiating with, that's what they are looking at and that's what they're evaluating. So you're shifting your mindset to be able to speak on their plane. When we as project managers are not self-advocating, sometimes the C-suite does not value the service that we bring enough, and you deserve a seat at that C-suite table in many cases to show the millions of dollars that you're creating in the economy worldwide, billions of dollars that project management brings to the worldwide economy. But we don't always do a great job of recognizing the connection of our services to that bottom line.
Great.
And so, Carla, thank you for letting me really dig into that with you. You are obviously a brilliant coach and asset to that company. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to have a conversation like that? Can we do? Oh my gosh, we don't have time. Oh my gosh, we only have 15 minutes left, Priya. This sucks. Then you guys got to give me more time. Okay, so let's. But do you understand the message? Well, I want you to know what your story is. I think it was Grace that somebody you said you want to do a better job at telling a story, right? Um, you want to know what it is that you do, why that's so important, and how do you do it, and where you've had success at that before to be able to tell that story, Carla. And I know you have to do that with care so that you're not revealing proprietary information. But if you know that and you come to that conversation with that confidence, it will show up in how you speak. When I speak, do you think I know what I'm talking about? Even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I act like it. Priscilla's laughing.
That's not true.
Okay, so that's part of your story, and and one of those questions is, do you have a track record of developing products, corporate structuring, startups, or turnarounds? Right, those are things that you need to know. What am I most interested in doing? What sets me apart? This is all part of your story. We don't have time to get into virtual aesthetics. I mean, this is part of what we're doing online. I want you to be able to have all kinds of assets for showing up professionally. There's a couple things I want you to notice right now. Where are my eyes on the screen? What percentage of the screen are my eyes at? If you were to divide the screen into thirds, where are my eyes?
Center.
Top third. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why? Why are my eyes at the top third? And you want to see my whole body, but my eyes are at the top third. If you look at TV or movie, they always frame usually to the side. Like if you were to divide the screen into thirds, they usually are like right here, top third, left third. So it creates more authority. So when you're talking virtually, if you're having a job interview, you want to make sure that your eyes are right about the top third. It gives you more authority. So you're not down here. Look, I can raise my desk. Now I'm talking to you from here. What does that do to my authority? Right? And so I want to be able to be in a place where I come at the conversation with confidence, with authority. And so that's the other thing. You want to have great lighting. You want to have, I have actually lighting. It's so great that I have a bald head because I have lighting on the top of my head so you can see like a little halo. It's behind me. I have lighting in front of me. You want to have great lighting and not just ambient lighting. People need to see your face. You need to look at the camera. Even though that's not natural, you need to be looking at the camera. So those are things that will help you in creating authority when you're speaking online. There's much more that we can talk about, but I'm going to just highlight a few things. Okay, let's talk about body language. When it comes to believability and likability, the words you use are only about 7% of your likability and authority. This information is often misused. It's talking about effectiveness as communication. That's not what this research says. Physiology, your likability, therefore your ability to build trust with people, is not so much about the words you use. It's about the tone that you use, the modulation, the pauses, and your body language, your face. And that's why it's so important that people see you, your body language, you're looking at them. Eye contact is one. So there's a lot of ways to have great body language and work on your physiology. And I'm going to share a few of these. There are nonverbal communication skills that you get to learn, right? So ways of talking include pauses, stressing words. You hear me stress words, don't you?
Yeah.
My voice goes up and down. Sometimes I get loud, sometimes I get quiet. Most often I'm loud because I'm trying to speak with authority. I'm using my voice. I am using my diaphragm. I don't know if you can hear, but I can punch the air with my voice. Can you hear it? You can feel it. But if I speak from my throat, I don't have as much authority. Can you tell the difference when I'm speaking from my throat versus when I speak from my diaphragm? The voice goes down. Your voice, when it lowers, even for women, when your voice is lower, it gives you more authority. Do you know that? So learning to speak from your diaphragm makes you, people want to listen to you, Alona. See the difference? Versus like if I want people to listen to you. Come on. All right. I'm talking now from my diaphragm. So pauses and stressing words, your posture, don't slouch, your appearance. Listen, ladies, I dressed up for you today. Lee, look, he's got a tie on in his picture there. I like that. Right? So we want to look good. We want to have head movements. We want to move so that our words match the word, our body matches the words that we're saying. Winking and eye movements, facial expressions, body contact. Yes, it is okay to touch people, shake their hands in very careful situations. Getting close. I know in some countries it's actually okay to get really close to people, like in Italy, right, Laura? We talk in face to face, but in other countries that's not, that doesn't work as well. But closeness is a way of communicating nonverbal communication. So there are some things that you can do to improve your nonverbal communication. So many benefits of improving how you communicate. You strengthen relationships. You motivate others to act. You are increasing your sales. You have greater satisfaction the better you are at communicating. You have more confidence. And I want you to be able to say what you mean. So often people are like, ask me how I'm doing. I'm good. I'm fine. Listen, if you're fine, tell your face. I want you to tell your face when you're happy, right? Some of you don't show your happiness when you're actually happy. It's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited. Really? Show it, right? Say what you mean. And when you're excited, let your body language show it. Your body language, there's so many different ways to verbally communicate, nonverbal communication. So match your verbal cues to what you're saying, number one. Number two, think about what your body is doing in certain circumstances. Sometimes those of you who are speaking are pacing back and forth, or you're nervously moving. Plant yourself, right? When you're speaking, you need to you'll have more authority if you plant yourself. Now you can move with intention. Make sure that your hand gestures are not flailing about, but they are supporting what it is that you're saying, and be very intentional about that. So be aware of the things that you maybe your body is doing, like bouncing your legs or playing with the keys in your pocket or your purse or whatever it is, because nervous habits will send a wrong message. And so you need to be knowing what's going on. Practice making appropriate hand gestures. And lastly, pay attention to your emotions, because when you have strong emotions, people will listen to your emotions and not what you are saying. So even if it's something that you're very passionate about, be very careful about the level of emotion in your voice so that people will listen to you and take you seriously. Now, here is a lady who's a body language expert, and she has an entire book on body language. I'm happy to show this to you, but I want you to look at the difference between showing how confident you are. When you're not confident, you hide behind things. When you're a little more confident, right, you're starting to expose yourself. And when you're most confident, you're really opening up yourself. Now, listen, for those of you who do public speaking, this is gonna be really weird. But I need you to be grown-ups for a second. When you stand up, a lot of times people hold their hands like this. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And then when they let go of their hands, what do? This is called the fig leaf, by the way. And so what happens is when you're holding your hands like that, it's a subconscious self-protective gesture. And then when you release, it's kind of like you're exposing yourself. Just be open, right? And it's very natural. Keep your hands up, keep your hands open, keep your body language like this, and it shows that you are confident because you are. It's Vanessa Van Edwards, exactly. That's exactly who it is, and that's from her book. And so, thank you for doing that, Priscilla. I'm glad you have that. Now, this is from Amy Cuddy, and Amy Cuddy is a great resource for confidence. And I want you to. I'll share her book with you here in just a minute. Look at the difference with the body language in confidence. Now, yeah, I don't want you man-spreading like at the top left, right? But there's a way to be confident and to show that confidence, and it's not, holding yourself and making yourself small. When you're confident, you actually make yourself bigger. And I want you, when you're standing, to stand in a power stance, which is your feet shoulder width apart. I want you to throw back your shoulders, stick them out, suck in your butt. Okay, it's okay. It may not feel natural. Listen, I am tall and I have terrible posture now. I'm 60 years old and I have a stooped back, and it is a mistake because my whole life I've kind of stooped over. You need to throw out your chest, and so it doesn't feel natural. But when you're on the stage or when you're talking, you need to just be as confident as possible, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But ladies, stand tall, okay? I want you to hear this right now. Your body language trumps how smart you are. Your body language. So often we think that we behave in ways that our mind is telling us to behave, right? So if we're not confident, we actually make ourselves smaller. But here's the reverse of that. If you stand confidently, it tells your body that you are confident. If you dress confidently, it sends the signal to your brain. You're forcing those signals to your brain. And here's what happens when you stand in a power stance. Listen, this is a power stance. Okay, it's literally just shoulder. Look, I got my jeans on. I'm not afraid. But I want you to have your feet shoulder width apart, your hands at your sides. Okay, and your shoulders back. It's a power stance. And when you stand confidently, hands on your hips or hands on your side, or between your chest and your waist. You want to keep your hands up between your chest and your waist. When you do that, it raises your testosterone level. Did you know that? Did you know that you have testosterone? You do. It raises your testosterone by about 20%, 25%, and it lowers your cortisol about 20%. What's cortisol?
Hormone.
It's the stress. It's the stress
related
hormone, right?
to stress. Yes.
So when you stand confidently, testosterone increases 20%, and you seem more confident. Literally standing that way. This is science. This is not Spencer making this up. And so when you send the signal to your brain that you are confident, it starts to show up. Okay, and here's where I want you to look at this. This is from Amy Cuddy. By accessing your personal power, we can achieve presence, the state in which we stop worrying about the impression we're making on others and instead adjust the impression we are making on ourselves. No grand metaphysical formula is required. We need to nudge ourselves moment by moment, tweaking our body language and behavior and mindset in our daily values. So I have a question for you. Which is more important, being respected or trusted? In other words, what scientists call competence or warmth. Competence or warmth, trust or respect. Cecilia, you say confident, right? Or competence, right? And so a lot of times people think it's about competence, that we need to have knowledge in order for us to be able to really be believed. But trust comes first, always. Warmth comes first, and I'll tell you why. This is an evolutionary. This is an evolutionary matter. Think about living in the caveman days, right? You're with your family, and let's say that I am a visiting Neanderthal. You don't know if I am going to kill your husband and steal you and drag you away by your hair, right? If I come to you and I say, I'm really good at building fire, do you care how good a fire builder I am if you think I'm a threat to your family? Does that make sense? You first have to know that I am not a threat to you and your family before I earn the right to show you how I can build fire. So you have to be able to be good at building trust. And one of the ways to do that is through using your voice effectively, right? There's a couple of things. Pace, how fast you are talking. Go fast, go slow. You want to vary your pace. You want to pitch, right? You have high pitch and you have low pitch. When you speak lower, you have more authority and volume. Sometimes you need to punch the air with your voice. Again, that creates an impact. It creates a pattern interrupt. Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. And pausing. Pausing is so powerful. And lastly, what is the quality of your voice? And that's about the raising and the lowering of your voice. And that's something that did not come natural for me. I had to do. All right. We have like 5 minutes. Can we go a little bit longer? And I've got several people that I pulled their LinkedIn profile because part of your brand is how you're showing up on social media. And I know some of you said that. And I've got some behavioral assessments. You guys, I could go for another 3 hours on this, but I know we don't have time. If you gotta go. But you're gonna miss the most important part of what I have to say here. Okay, so here's what I did. I pulled off Priya's social media here. And I want you to look at this right now because I want you to see this is part of her brand. Now, she's got some great things on here. She does a lot of speaking and she wants to promote herself as a speaker and a president. I love the title. You're an agile evangelist. I think that's a great title. Delivery director, author, speaker, president. The only thing that I want to there's two things I want to point out here. Okay. Number one, the first thing that people see is your headshot, Priya. That is a beautiful headshot. You are beautiful. I want it to be a little closer. I want your head to kind of reach to the top of the circle and it to be closer around your face. You don't want to see anything else but your face. You don't need to see the rest of the body. And the fact that there's no background is perfect because there's no distraction. That's a good headshot. I just want it a little bit tighter. The other thing is that the banner at the top is the greatest real estate for you to promote what it is you do. Now, I see that you're speaking and you're winning awards, and so that kind of tells a story, and I think that's okay. But you can also use it to kind of share, share a brand or a message that people know what you're all about. A couple of things. Excuse me. The about section. You only see the first 3 lines of the about section. So it's got to be punchy. It's got to be, remember your elevator speech, it's got to be something that creates interest. So, nonlinear thinker, futurist, amplifying value, an agile evangelist, and delivery director in the technology industry. I think that's pretty good. But notice the rest of it is like a resume. This is not supposed to be a resume. This is about showing who you are, your soul. You want to have people to be able to connect with you. Your resume is your job experience that comes lower, right? It's all those other things. This isn't actually an opportunity for people to learn who you are. Is this helpful, you guys? I mean, I've got a couple of examples here. Okay, so this is your resume. This is everything that you've done. This is beautiful. The one thing that I would recommend right here, you see that little box next to her name where it says speaker for national, international conferences? She's been doing that for 7 years and 9 months. But that little box right there says she's just like a freelance. This is not something that she's doing seriously. So what I would do to change that? I would create a page on LinkedIn that is the name of your it's the Priapatra Speaks page, right? Or whatever your brand. It's a corporate page. It's free. It does not cost a penny. And I would have a logo. And then what you do is you connect your personal page to your professional page, and it shows that you are actually in business. I don't care if you're working out of your garage. It's all about how you show up. But that tells me that you're not serious to have that little box there. Does that make sense? It looks like you're just a self-employed. No, you're a freaking international speaker. Okay, so play big and create that page so that you've got a brand on there that looks like you're in business. Does that make sense? Now, next, you got 3 recommendations. I know there are a lot of people around the world that love you. That's not enough. The last one you have was in 2013. I want you to get 5 recommendations immediately from people who know and love you and would talk good about you. Why? Because third-party documentation is part of your brand. It's always better for other people when Cecilia promotes me and Priya promotes me and says I'm wonderful. It's so much better than if I say that myself, isn't it? The same is true of Priya. She's amazing. But if she says it, it comes across as bragging. But if you have other people say that on your behalf, that's so important. Okay, next. She's not here, is she?
No.
Okay, well, too bad. Priscilla. All right.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Perfect. This is a perfect photo. That's exactly what I want your headshot to look like, Priya. Do you see the difference? It's just a tiny, tiny change. So great headshot. I love all the awards, but I think that's still wasted space at the top there. I want that to be, because you are a consultant, yes?
Yes.
I want you to have maybe some of what it is you do, a statement or brand statement there. If you look at my LinkedIn, you can kind of use that as an example. If I had more time, I'd give you an example of that. Also, the other thing is that you got a lot of things under there: project manager, MBA, certified Scrum Master, a lot of letters. I want to know what it is that you do and the problem that you solve very, very quickly. And so that's something that we could work on, is the explanation of your title. All right. You're about. I like this. Welcome to my profile. I'm a seasoned project manager and product owner with expertise in traditional. I want this to be less of a resume and more of into your soul and what it is that you're passionate about. I want people to know a little bit about you and what makes you stand out. What causes you to be who you are and do what you do? That's the chance. If someone takes the time to read about you, they're going to look at this and say, oh, that's boring. But if there's a story, right? This is about storytelling. This is an opportunity for you to tell a story about yourself, and it's the perfect place to do it. Same thing about this project management consultant. I want you to, do you have a name for your company?
No.
Okay, well, we could talk about that. and maybe make that so that it looks like you're in business, right? You're a project management consultant. Then let's call that, and you're the CEO of that company, whatever it is. Same thing. You have 8 recommendations. The last one is 2023. This is the thing about your brand. You have got to be willing to ask people for recommendations. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to do one more thing before we finish. Are you guys okay if I go just a few minutes over? All right,
Okay.
I'm going to give you an example. I did a behavioral assessment on a few of the people that we have on the call, and I'm going to show. Is it okay if I show yours, Priscilla?
No problem.
All right. So this is a behavioral profile that this is, again, part of your brand is how you show up. And so this is an 18-page report on how Priscilla naturally behaves. That's their natural self, which none of us get to always behave in ways that are natural, right? The priority environment is measuring how she's consciously or subconsciously shifting her behavior. And the outward self is the synthesis of these things, how she's showing up. I call this your dating profile. I call this your married profile. You guys realize that people show up on their first date differently than they do when you get married, right? I want to know who you are married when you get hired by a company, not when you're interviewing. So we don't spend really any time on this. But if you look at Priscilla, she is a very strong, high conformity person, which means she loves clarity. She loves rules. She does not like ambiguity. She needs to know exactly what's expected. She is low in dominance, which means she is supportive. She's collaborative. She's not somebody that loves the spotlight. She has low extroversion. She's not comfortable for me talking about her like this. She's not comfortable speaking up in front of crowds. She's also impatient. She likes to get stuff done, and she likes to be perfect at what she does. And so when she speaks up, she's very self-critical. Would you agree? Naturally, Priscilla has what I call an earning style of leadership. So she is somebody who puts her head down and does a great job and hopes she gets noticed. Well, there's a problem with that. One time I was giving a keynote in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and afterwards a project manager who was originally from Slovenia came up to me and she was telling me her story. She had 5 direct reports, and this is my last story I'm going to tell you. She said, I don't understand. I was completely qualified for a promotion within my company. And I applied to be the vice president, regional vice president, and the person who got the job was not as qualified as I was. Why did that happen? Any of you ever happened to any of you like that? I said, I could tell by her personality because I'm a behavioral analyst. I said, you're probably somebody that seeks to earn a promotion by earning it, by putting your head down and doing a great job and hoping the hiring manager noticed you. She says, that's exactly what I did. I said, because you were unwilling to get uncomfortable, to go out and win that promotion, to go out and seek it by promoting yourself, the person who has that job is not as qualified as they could have been had you been willing to do that. Some of you on this call, when I talk about speaking with power and authority, when I speak about promoting yourself, it's very uncomfortable because it does not feel natural. One of the people that's not on this call that I've had the opportunity to work with is Aneta Vereshak from PMI Poland. And she has that same temperament as you do, Priscilla. But just because that's your natural style doesn't mean you can't go out there and show how and let people know why you deserve the positions that you want, why you deserve the clients that you're talking to, and how you can serve them. It just takes some preparation. It takes recognizing that it's uncomfortable, and that's very normal. But don't let that stop you. So if you are willing to do some work and practice, and I'm happy to help you if any of you want to reach out to me afterwards, I'm happy to give you some practice, some self-coaching techniques that will help you prepare so that when you have those opportunities to make a pivot, you can stand with confidence. You can present yourself in a way that people will listen to you, that they will buy your story, they will buy your proposals, that they will buy, your ideas, and that you will be able to influence the conversations into your favor to get the results that you want to have. Now, I recognize I've gone an extra 10 minutes, and I am so grateful that you are interested. Please forgive me. There's so much that they asked me to talk about, and we just didn't have time to do it. But thank you for listening. I stick around and answer any questions that you have. Anybody who wants to stick around, unless you're in India and it's like midnight.
It's not midnight yet.
It's only 8:10. Right?
It's only 8:40, not 10.
Oh yeah, 8:40. That's right. So thank you. Any questions that you guys want to ask, or you're just tired of me?
Amazing.
This was amazing, Spencer. Yeah. Any questions, team? Otherwise, you can reach out to Spencer on LinkedIn.
Margaret, thank you. Thank you. There's a lot to cover, and I literally just touched the surface. Thank you, Claudia. I appreciate that. Anybody?
Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to talk to you. And Alona, you and I had a chance to work on your profile, right? On your LinkedIn profile?
Margaret?
Olena. I'm sorry.
I finished my LinkedIn profile as you teach me, and in 2 weeks I am starting my new job.
Yeah, so she started reaching out, which I didn't talk to you about. Once you create your profile, then there's a way to use that to actually reach out to people, and she did that, and she almost got immediately some response, right?
Oh.
Thank you, Spencer, for your help.
No, thank you for joining today. Like I said, this is just the start, and then it's just there's so much yet to do. So, anyway, back to you, Priya.
Yeah, I think there's a question from Jackie.
Oh, what is it? What pointers can you give? I'm presenting to investors with my pitch. Oh, great. What kind of investors? I'm investing in your project or what?
Can I? Oh, I can speak.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a huge business proposal, and this was so timely. I didn't realize that all of this would have been covered, because in the next few weeks, I will be presenting my business to investors. So this was.
Are they individual investors or is it a specific company?
It's individual.
Okay. One of the things that I like to do is I have an AI tool that allows me to do research on industry to find out what the challenges are, I can find out individual company information through AI. I can do research on every single one of you because what you've put on the internet. If you guys want me to show you, I'll show you. It's really scary. I can find out your personality profile. I can find out your values, everything about you just by doing an AI search on you. And so one of the things that I do is if I know I'm going to speak to individuals, I stalk them. I use AI and I am completely prepared about who it is I'm talking to, and I'm prepared with a story. I'm prepared with a story about the problems that I'm solving. So when it comes to investors, what is the problem that they want to solve? Is it a return on investment? How are you going to accomplish that? Speak their language. If you've got a slide deck, certainly show data, but make sure that you're showing creating an emotional connection to the problem that they have and that how you're going to solve it. You're not selling yourself, right? You're not saying, "Hey, you want to invest with me because of this." You're selling yourself when you give them the solutions to the problems that they have, which is kind of part of what we did in the storytelling, right? Know what it is that their needs are and how you fill that need. And if you can tell that story very quickly, then your ability to close those investors goes up. I don't know if that helped you, but it's yeah. And then use that amazing smile of yours and look them right in the eyes and say, "You're going to get what you want, and I'm going to help you do that."
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Margaret had their hand.
Who's that?
Margaret,
Me.
do you want? Yes.
Margaret, yes. What's your question?
Well, this section was very insightful. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I'd like to know if there is a possibility to have a workshop and to go deeper in some of those points, and also to have the same personality profile that you gave to Priscilla. I'm Avi now. I have. So
Yeah,
is
you
it
can do that. I'll tell you what, if you want to, the survey, I'd love for you to, here's what I'll do. If anybody wants the survey, it's $50 US and you'll get the full survey. It's 24 pages. I'll spend an hour with you. That's my gift. Okay. I'm happy to do that with you. But you got to buy the survey. So that's the only thing. If you want to, you reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat.
okay?
And then we can schedule it once you take the survey. I'll schedule some time with you and we'll go through it one-on-one. And we can schedule a workshop if you want.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. So I see the.
Okay, so looks like it's time. We have to wrap up.
Oh my
Cecilia,
gosh.
over to you.
Wow. Well, incredible session. Thank you very much. Please, Spencer, receive this certificate of appreciation for this wonderful workshop. I love it. So I very appreciate your dedication. We will stay here for a long time. I don't want to go away. This is amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry for going longer, but I just, there's so much to talk about and it's my weakness. Forgive me.
Thank you. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Cecilia, and thank you, Spencer, for that wonderful session. With this, we wrap up our June event. Do keep watching our social media handles for more. The next event would be on how to make yourself a resilient leader, which would be on July 5th, 2025. We will be back with another amazing speaker. We're still looking for one. If you know of anyone who can add value to our community or conduct a session as amazing as Spencer did today, do let us know. Let us know what you think. The Menti poll is there on the chat. And with that, we will wrap up. And thank you, everyone. Don't go away yet. Please do put on your cameras so that we can take a group picture before we sign off.
Guten Abend, buonanotte, buona noche.
Boa noite. Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Bom dia.
Cecilia, we can stop the recording now.
Stop the recording. Okay.